What's up? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel Sports, Life, Politics TV. Today is September 9th. I'm Samuel Capo, and I'm here for the news. This is a news channel where I go over daily clips of international news, national news, science and technology, history. It just depends on what's in the news. And yesterday I went over a couple of clips. And one of the clips were a sheriff deputy who ended up killing a married couple. And come to find out, as a little bit of time went on from one day to the next, this sheriff was actually from Stockton, California, where I just recently moved from. He was a sheriff out in Dublin, which is a beginning parts of the Bay Area. And I made a prediction yesterday on why I thought this brother in the middle, who was a sheriff, killed that married couple. Let's see what I said yesterday, and then we'll go back and see what his mom said. Let's take a look at this 15-second clip, what I said yesterday. He shot a married couple. Once again, automatically my Negro Spidey senses tell me that, look, either the husband was sleeping with his wife or he was sleeping with the man who kills wife or girlfriend, but everybody in this, they knew each other. There's no doubt about that. And that was my prediction from yesterday. Now, if you want to go back and watch the whole clip, you can, that's fine. But I said yesterday that these people knew each other and that somebody was sleeping with somebody's wife. There was no doubt about that. Let's see what his mother said today. I'm sorry, wrong video.
New information today in the case of the Alameda County Sheriff's deputy arrested in the shooting deaths of a married couple in Dublin.
Our crime reporter Henry Lee spoke with the suspect's mother and joins us now from the Santa Rita jail in Dublin with more. Henry.
Mike and Julie have confirmed this deputy was involved in a romantic relationship with the woman he's now accused of gunning down along with her husband. Now that deputy's mother telling me her son was blinded by love and that she tried to warn him. Alameda County Sheriff.
So his mother knew that he was in an extramarital affair with some woman who was already married. And let me tell you fellas this. Dealing with a married woman, I don't care if you single or not. You just as guilty as that married woman. You know, I have people say, that's on her. No. Everybody's life is at risk because you never know what somebody else is doing in a relationship. For the woman, if she's cheating on her husband, she never knows how psychotic or how mentally stable the person is that she's dealing with. She's in lust. She's just having fun. She doesn't deal with none of the real problems that comes with another person and the day-to-day dealings and what's going on with them. You're just dealing in the sexual favors that you give at each other. But it's extremely dangerous. And for the man and the woman, you're just as culpable, whether you're single or not. Let's continue on with the video.
Deputy Devin Williams Jr. now behind bars at the very same jail where he worked just hours before the violence. It's a stunning turn for a law enforcement officer now accused of fatally shooting married couple Benison and Maria Tran in their 5-bedroom home on Colbert Lane in Dublin early Wednesday morning. I learned that the deputy had been in a romantic relationship with 42-year-old Maria Tran, seen here in this undated photo. She was gunned.
Let me say that. And looks can be deceiving. You never know who the cheaters are, y'all. That's the beauty of life. Looking at that woman, you would think, you don't know. But does she look like a cheater? I don't know. What do a cheater look like? I don't know. But that face value, you would think it's just an innocent woman, married, kids, But obviously she was getting some of that black dingus, on the side. She had a little rice with a little piece of neck bone.
Down, along with 57-year-old Benison Tran, her husband of 2 decades and a retired engineer for the city of Santa Clara.
She told him she loved him. They were on a 10-day trip.
By phone, the deputy's mother, Anitra Williams, told me her son had started a relationship with Maria Tran back in January. The two met at John George Psychiatric Hospital where Tran worked as a nurse.
Maria Tran represented herself as an unmarried woman. In fact, her exact words were she was a 35-year-old single parent who had been recently divorced.
She said.
Now, when she said she was recently divorced, in some women's mind, because they're not sleeping with their husband like they used to, and she's not sexually attracted like she used to, she'll begin to delve into delusion where she really thinks she's separated. She ain't, but she is in her mind. She probably wasn't sleeping with the husband anymore. She wasn't sexually attracted. And, you know, she started getting some of this black man's neck bone. She started getting a piece of that rib. And you know how that go. Then the Negro didn't realize that, you know, deep down inside, she never probably was going to leave her husband and her children for him. And she probably lied to him, but, you know, it is what it is. You can't get mad. I can understand why you would be upset, but you can't. It can't lead to murder. That means he was already a weak individual, extremely weak.
She urged her son to stay clear of her. Anitra Williams made clear violence is unacceptable.
Bottom line is right now there's a young boy that's missing both his mother and father. I don't condone anything that happened.
She says her son called her while driving in the Central Valley.
I told him the cowardly thing to do would be to take your life. I talked to my son and told my son, tap into who I raised you to be.
The deputy then spoke to the Dublin police chief and surrendered to CHP officers in Coalinga. Williams was a former Stockton police officer but failed his probationary period after a year.
Our people are saying, did we miss something? Did we not do something right?
That's amazing that you can fail as a regular police officer and then you're able to pass as a sheriff, which I don't know nothing about the testing and all that, but obviously a sheriff, that's a little higher on the totem pole than a regular police officer.
Sheriff's Lieutenant Ray Kelly says no one was aware of the deputy's inner turmoil.
Somewhere in the last several months of his life, some significant events happened that led up to this moment. A lot of those events went undiscovered and undisclosed.
Now that deputy's being held without bail here at Santa Rita Jail in Dublin. The DA.
So now he's officially locked up, facing life, threw his whole life away. From what I heard, this young kid out of Stockton was extremely sheltered growing up. Didn't have a lot of relationship experience on dealing with women. He fell in love and the vagina drove him crazy. And he went in that house and killed a husband and a wife and left a young child without a mother and a father. It's terrible, terrible. They're gonna throw the weight of the justice system on him, but you know, I ended up being correct, y'all. I can tell y'all on this channel, I can kind of see what's going on, y'all. And I knew, looking at that video, something wasn't right. Something wasn't right. And that it was the wife was either cheating or the husband was cheating with his wife or something was going on with some cheating and it was sexual. So I figured it out, pretty much. It's all guesswork, but you know, reading between the lines is what we do. This next is victims and survivors of the shooting spree in Memphis. And matter of fact, this video was from yesterday of the young man who went on Facebook Live and was killing people. And they had a video up of him actually doing the shooting. They took it down. They didn't show him shooting, but they showed him all the way up to the moment at the AutoZone right before he shot. He was on Facebook Live saying, I do this shit for real. I really shoot people. I'm doing this live. And I'm going to show y'all he went in there and shot a man, an innocent man for no reason on Facebook Live, y'all. I mean, some of these people, man, demonic spirit. I keep saying it, demonic spirit, man, Facebook Live.
Now, here's another look at the victims as we share stories from their families and loved ones around the city. Right now, we will remember the victims, starting with a dad who is pleading for the community to stop the senseless violence. Brittany Moncrief has more.
And Memphis is off the chain right now. Memphis is also where the lady just got kidnapped. And I did a video on that yesterday. The lady got kidnapped in a van. She was jogging at 4 in the morning, which I completely advise against women jogging at 4 in the morning while it's still dark outside without pepper spray, mace, or a pistol. And he kidnapped her, killed her, and left her in an abandoned apartment.
Life of a 17-year-old girl.
Please, y'all, stop please, I'm begging y'all, please. Alright. My baby just turned 17.
17. When time and life stood still for Criteria Records.
I'm calling her phone. She would not answer her phone, y'all. My baby won't answer her phone.
a silence.
I always find it interesting when people can grieve on the internet. You know what I mean? Not to take away from his grief or his pain, but I don't know. That'd be hard for me to do, to get on Facebook Live and cry, you know, and just be telling all the whole story. I don't know if I can do that. This is a new era and a new time, and I understand people air out everything via the internet, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, but I don't know if I can do that.
No parent wants to hear, but gets louder by the second. Corteria was killed in Wednesday's mass shooting spree throughout Memphis. Her father, Corterian Wright, barely able to speak, took to social media with one plea.
We gotta get rid of these guns, man. These unnecessary guns, man. We gotta get rid of all this unnecessary violence, man.
Corteria, known to her family as Bebe, turned 17 on August 25th. Her family
He out of his goddamn mind. He think they getting rid of these guns. That's the Second Amendment. So if you think they just get rid of the Second Amendment, brother, you're in for a rude awakening.
describes her as an intelligent and happy young lady, always laughing and always joking. She had goals and plans for her future that she recently shared with family over dinner this week.
My baby innocent. I should pray to God my baby won't end up pain.
A pain no comfort can match, and no one should have to feel.
The big in the world, man. Whatever y'all do, man. Stop sending people family through this, man. I don't want nobody to ever feel what I just felt. Please, y'all. But I'm begging y'all, like, please. Please, please, please stop the violence.
Bearing her father's name,
Happy birthday to my pimp, y'all.
Corteria's memories, spirit, and legacy lives on.
But, you know, shout out to that father, man. I'm pretty sure that was, you know, that's terrible. Nobody wants to lose a child, relative, loved one, friend, family. It doesn't matter. It's a terrible feeling because, you know, them people are never coming back. You only get one shot at this thing called life. But I'm not going to go through the whole video, but I did want to show the beginning of the video some of the people who did end up passing away. There are a couple of more people. Let me see. It's this lady right here. She ended up passing away. He shot her. So they were saying on the internet yesterday that he was shooting just white people, but obviously this nigga was demented, deranged, had a demonic spirit on him. So when you have that demonic spirit on you, you don't see race. A lot of times you end up, you know, you'll kill your own. It doesn't matter. That's like some of these white mass serial killers. When that demonic spirit is on you, race goes out the window, believe it or not. Then people end up killing white people, black, Mexican, Asian. They don't care.
So much to so many. Authorities say Parker died in Midtown Memphis Wednesday at Poplar and Evergreen after she...
I don't want to say fair use. Some of these videos, you know, they might try to copyright you, and, you know, but fair use. I'm just using these videos for educational purposes. I'm not going to use the whole video. And then you had Cobb County. Cobb County is a suburb of Atlanta. Now, let me say this about crime in today's time. This is the first time in American history where crime from the inner city is leaking into the suburbs. You know, I've seen a lot of stuff in Los Angeles, Manhattan, nice parts of Miami, nice parts of all type of suburbs and nice areas. Even out here where I'm at in Las Vegas, I stay out in Summerlin. They had a older white man. He was robbed in front of his house. Man, dude came in his house and took his gun and tried to shoot him with his own gun, but the magazine wasn't actually in the gun. And this crime is starting to leak out everywhere in a massive way. You might say leak and massive don't go together, but you know, it is. It's starting to be more and more. Like you might see Beverly Hills, Malibu, Rodeo Drive, just areas where it's affluent and money's there. It's starting to be more crime that's starting to leak into these areas. But Cobb County is a suburb of Atlanta, and it says 2 sheriffs, 2 deputies killed, 2 suspects arrested. Let's take a look.
To be honest with you, I don't have the information. I just know they're in custody and they're currently being interviewed by Cobb County Police. I'm not sure the ages of the 2 suspects.
And do they reside at that address?
That I don't know as well. We're still doing an investigation to determine, but based on what we're going to the warrant, we assume one of them did live there at that property.
Do we know, were they related?
I don't have the information currently.
Are these your first line of duty deaths since you've been sheriff? And how long has it been since the Cobb County Sheriff's Office had a deputy killed in line of duty?
This is my first line of duty death since I've been in office for over 18 months. And we haven't had one from a shooting incident. Never had a car accident.
Was it your agency that was involved? Was it the Cobb County Sheriff's Department that was able to negotiate them coming out? Or was it another one of the other agencies?
So it was my corporation with the Cobb County Police Department. So they were doing, since they were the lead agency.
I want to say this before this video is up. I've said it in other videos. There's a lot of corruption in the sheriff department, but I also want to say there's a lot of good sheriffs and a lot of good cops out there too. But the problem with being a good cop is the corrupt cops that's in there, they usually hold more of the weight. They're usually like a gang where they have a no snitch policy on each other. So if one cop is doing something completely wrong, another cop, if he tells, he's shunned. He's frowned upon. He might get like shitty assignments, mistreatment. Shit, in Los Angeles Sheriff Department, you can get beaten, killed. I mean, there's a lot that goes on within law enforcement internally, outside of the regular people. Because outside, if you're a decent cop, a decent sheriff, man, you dealing with some of the wackiest shit you've ever seen in your life. You dealing with crime scenes. You dealing with decapitations. You dealing with people that's lost limbs. You dealing with some of the most horrific crimes you've ever seen as sheriffs and police officers that you come upon, and that's already mentally taxing. Police officers have some of the highest divorce rates, some of the highest domestic violence, because it's an extremely stressful job. It's a lot of hours, and today's time, police aren't truly respected. They're really not. People don't really respect the police no more. Not like it should be. Why? One is because they don't hold themselves accountable when another cop does wrong. And I will say this in the good cop's defense, it's hard for them to hold somebody else accountable with the gang-like culture in these sheriffs and police departments of no snitching, no telling, no reporting another officer having wrongdoing.
On the investigation and that portion of the incident.
During the standoff, was there anyone else in the house having hostages or anything, or was it just those two suspects?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Take a couple more questions.
Do you know the exact address?
Ma'am?
Go ahead.
Just the address of the home that they were barricaded in.
I don't have it right in front of me. I do have it, but yes, we do have the address where that incident occurred, yes.
And you know, that's just one of those things. It's unfortunate. A lot of times these deputies have families, wife, obviously they have mom, dad, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles. And it's terrible to lose your life in the line of duty. Like I said, there are good cops out there, man, and it's terrible that they can't really enforce being good cops on all the other cops there. Because like I said, there's pockets and segments. Obviously, being a police officer is just a microcosm of life. You have some good, you have some people that's okay, and then you have some people that's terrible. I don't care if you're you work in a prison, you're gonna have good people who work in the prison. You gotta have people in the middle of the pack that's just getting by. You got some people who's terrible. That's in every aspect of life. Man in custody after firing shots, exposing himself and climbing. Now, as you can see, this shit right here look like some Planet of the Apes shit. He looked like Caesar.
Aaron, thanks so much. Phone calls of a nude man wielding a gun in Northwest DC.
When you hear nude man, you obviously know. I remember coming up as a kid, you used to have this shit called PCP. Some of y'all know, most of y'all probably heard of PCP, Sherm, Angel Dust. But now they have this, they have different drugs now, fentanyl. People are experimenting with mushrooms, acid. Well, I forgot it's a marijuana, like spice, I think it's called. It's a lot of different shit out there, y'all. And you see this Negro climbing upside down like he's in a goddamn San Diego zoo. This is ridiculous. And then he has one of them ski masks on like Pooh Shiesty. If you don't know who Pooh Shiesty is, that's one of them young rap niggas. But he got one of them masks on. He's high as a kite. Mentally unstable,
yesterday.
Let's take a look.
Hours-long standoff with police going into the wee hours of this morning. Melanie Alwick has the latest on this disturbing and bizarre story now. Oh, that's right.
And we must, if you're a Negro, you must admit, looking at some shit like that, that's just embarrassing. And I'm not usually embarrassed for other people of my race. We all individuals. We all do our own thing. We all work in an individual way, but we still together as a people. And when you see some shit that you see, you just embarrassed. Hey, because this is some true monkey shit.
Was a tense situation for a bit, and then it turned into quite a spectacle, shutting down the Brightwood neighborhood, parts of the Brightwood neighborhood, all night, but definitely chaotic at the start.
10:33 with the Falcon, 1200 block of Jefferson shot fired, suspects on the roof.
Yeah, he's monkeying around.
It was about 4 p.m. when all of this started. At some point, that man, again, firing shots, but no one was injured. And we also know that later in those police transmissions, they say the gun was found on the sidewalk. At one point, the man completely stripped down naked. At other points, he was in various states of undress. He was jumping from roof to roof, hanging on utility lines, climbing through trees. D.C. police blocked off the streets as they tried to secure the situation. That gun recovered around 5 p.m., but the standoff continued. One resident now calling the neighbor about the man on her roof. She came home and says she was stopped at the police line.
Unbelievable.
He randomly picked my house to enter. He broke in my door and he came upstairs and then opened the window, broke the windows and accessed my porch. And he's been jumping on the different people's, my neighbor, my next door neighbor on both sides of me, back and forth, just creating havoc.
As night fell, rescue crews brought out a large inflatable jump cushion, and police negotiators climbed those ladders once again to try to talk the man down. As of 11 o'clock, when our crews were still there, though, he was refusing. And
now look at this shit. This man is up in that tree with his ass half hanging out his pants. This is just ridiculous. I'm surprised they weren't throwing bananas at the nigga. Unbelievable.
Streets remained shut down. It was about 1 in the morning, 2 hours later, when the man finally...
The moral of the story is monkey see, monkey do. We gotta do better. Unbelievable. Let me go over this clip right here. Bombshell report leaked on information from FBI's Mar-a-Lago. See what they talking about.
Well, tonight, new reaction from lawmakers amid a bombshell report by the Washington Post about the materials seized at Mar-a-Lago. Among the documents allegedly in former President Trump's possession, the nuclear capabilities of a foreign government. See that?
Now, when they say the nuclear capabilities of a foreign government, there's only 8, 9 different countries that's nuclear capable. I don't think it's that big of a secret what their capabilities are, unless it's some shit that we just flat out don't know. But if you're nuclear capable, you're nuclear capable. I guess they talking about the range. I would imagine they talking about the range of the missiles and the technology that they might be using. And but seriously, what I want to know is what country. If I was to assume, y'all, when he say nuclear capabilities, you know who I would assume? North Korea. Who else? I mean, all the other nuclear capable countries, we already basically know. Russia, China, that ain't, I mean, shit. That's not that big of a, we already know that how capable they are. The only people who's up and new on the rise is North Korea. So my guess would be North Korea. And is that a big deal? I don't know. But I think this whole thing is extremely exaggerated. I really do. Like I said before in other videos, all these politicians have shit on each other, other countries, other foreign leaders. It's not as big as they're making it out to be, you guys. I promise you.
So it's Naja Sherman is in the newsroom with the latest on this. Naja.
Jim, Rubio accused the FBI and the Justice Department of strategically leaking information to the media.
Reaction essentially split along party lines in Washington over the stunning Washington Post report claiming one of the documents seized at Donald Trump's Palm Beach home includes a document describing a foreign government's military defenses, including its nuclear capabilities, with information about a foreign government's nuclear defense readiness.
Let me tell y'all this. This just hit me. I just thought about this right now. If this is so bad of Donald Trump having this information on another foreign country's nuclear capabilities, then why in the fuck would the FBI leak that? That's like an oxymoron. I can't. A lot of times on this shit, it's baffling. But obviously the FBI, whoever's over the FBI at this particular moment in time, they have it out for Donald Trump. There's no doubt about it. Because think about it. They just said it's terrible to have this information, true or false. Then they tell you that having this information it's information about the foreign government's nuclear defense readiness that you shouldn't have it. Then you leak it out because there's no way we can know. We ain't even been to Mar-a-Lago. We don't know. The media don't know. The only way the media would know is if somebody from the FBI leaked it out because the FBI was the one who went in there. So this is treason. Honestly, this is what you call treason. Now this is treasonous for somebody to leak that out of the FBI, but nobody's going to hold them accountable. They want to hold Donald Trump accountable. If he's accountable, then the FBI should also equally be accountable for leaking this out. You can't leak that out. Unbelievable.
The Post states some documents found at Trump's home were so closely guarded that many senior national security officials did not have access to them.
If that information was at Mar-a-Lago, it puts the sources and methods by which we collected that information at risk, and therefore we could lose that information that is so important to us.
Now we can, because you just made it known locally, nationally, and internationally. You made it known to the whole planet Earth. What is he talking about?
Paper sources did not identify the foreign government in question, but other than the U.S., there are 8 countries believed to have nuclear capabilities. Those include allies like France and the United Kingdom, plus Russia, China, and North Korea.
North Korea.
Handling of sensitive documents remains an ongoing...
My guess. Could be wrong, but my guess.
Look at this, and our allies become concerned about whether the U.S. is handling their classified information in a secure way. It makes them think twice about whether to share sensitive information with us.
Well, there's no doubt they're going to think twice now. The FBI made sure of it because we know whatever was in that house in Mar-a-Lago, there's no way we should know. True or false? I don't give a fuck whether you like Donald Trump, don't like him. That's irrelevant. We should know.
Wednesday, Trump's lawyer told CBS News that leaks continue with no respect for the probe or his client, nor any regard for the real truth. Florida Senator Marco Rubio also shared his thoughts about the report with Fox News.
These people every single day are strategically leaking information that can't be rebutted, by the way, or in any way analyzed, for a reason, and that's politics, to influence the narrative. And so I'm first of all very skeptical of that.
Hey, look, I always say this about politicians, news channels, they tell the truth when it's convenient. I'm not a huge Rubio fan. Marco Rubio, I'm not a huge fan of his, but he's 100% correct. You leaking this shit and then you can't even fight it because you guys have hoarded all the information. So we don't even know what's what. That's just nuts. Let's go over this right here. These are the last 2 clips of the day. We have a carnival ride drops full speed into the ground. Let's take a look.
Welcome back. Carl and Canberra, a carnival ride in India became far more terrifying than intended. Cell phone video shows the ride, spinning.
Hey, that is terrible. Did you see the way that shit slammed into that ground? And I wonder, when that ride was coming down like that, did they think that was part of the ride or what? As that was coming down, when did they realize this ain't supposed to go like this? This ain't it. I don't think they ever realized it because nobody was braced for that shit. Maybe, I'll take that back. Some people might have. You never know. Some people had no idea what was coming. Some other people most definitely felt this ain't right. But that's terrible. I'm going to tell you another thing. I don't ever ride carnival rides. Seriously, if you look up carnival deaths, carnival carnage, or carnival, anything that has to do with carnival and tragedy and carnival accidents, you see some of the wackiest shit ever. You get on one of these old carnival rides that they've been all up since 1989 and that shit snapping midair, and you see somebody flying off that shit, and all of a sudden they try to turn into a bald eagle in midair. And you can't turn into no bald eagle, but you want to try. I remember when they had 9/11, and when you watched it live, they obviously, you know, you can't find the video no more. They took it down immediately after 9/11, but if you watched it live, I remember a man, I don't know if it was a man or woman, but because of the picture was so grainy, but a human being jumped out of one of the buildings because it was on fire, and they started trying to flap their arms like a bird. I never forget that shit. That shit was ingrained in my mind, watching that shit live, of somebody trying to grow feathers in midair. And that's what these carnival rides are. It's like going skydiving and picking your parachute, and they say, it's 10 parachutes. Three of these parachutes, they're not gonna open. And you pick that shit and get on that shit anyway, get it and skydive anyway with a parachute that's unknown. Maybe it might pop open, maybe not. But these carnival rides dangerous as hell, man. Ain't no fucking way in hell I get on these old ass carnival rides that ain't being maintenance. They got a bunch of carnies and nut jobs and lunatics and meth heads over the rides. Ain't no way.
Suddenly comes crashing down like you just saw there to a very hard landing.
Damn.
The ride fell about 50 feet, injuring 16 people. There it goes again. Carnival organizers are blaming the accident on a technical issue.
And when that shit hit, you know, you instantly, all the air got knocked out of you. You was completely concussed, dazed and confused, and lucky to be alive. Only in India. But no, them carnival rides is dangerous anywhere. I don't give a damn where you go. And I said in every one of these videos I do, I'm gonna stick in one of these. Pedophilia is at an all-time high, at least in America.
Referee is under arrest accused of having sex. Referee is under arrest accused of having sex with a student. Police say the arrested 46-year-old Darwin Tango comes after an Independence High School student told police about an assault. She says it happened one day after school in April. Investigators say Tango, a boys volleyball referee, was the attacker.
And you most definitely got to tell your children, young girls, boys, that, hey, this is not okay. You got to coach them up, let them know. Give them the advice that you never let nobody talk you into anything sexual, touch you in an inappropriate way. And if somebody say or do anything inappropriate that you think as a child, to tell your parents immediately. Because there's a lot of sickos out here, you guys. A whole lot of sickos. And like I said, you got to bring back some biblical shit of stoning, ass kicking, choke slamming. I mean, you need some real brutal beatings. You know, in the Bible, if you stole something, they chop your hand off. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, you guys. That's where we need to head with some of this shit. I'm going to say this clip right here for now. Former NFL player charged with murder, tampering with evidence. I'll say that for tomorrow, you guys. But hey, y'all, this has been another great day of news. This is Sports, Life, Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel. I'm here for the news. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I just took your ass on another international, national, and local news ride.